Good morning. No, I was watching a little YouTube. I had got done. Well, I loaded up the three of the log furniture things I needed loaded up, and then um, I still have one here. I gotta load up. Um, yeah, I'm sitting here cutting some onion for breakfast. Steak and onion for breakfast. Well, a Swiss steak type situation. But got things loaded up, and then I just got the rototiller to get loaded up. Yeah, see the way I peel the onion, still has the bottom. All I do is just take off the first layer of the flesh. So I basically, if it was the whole onion, as you can see, I cut it like this, and then I would cut the end off, and then cut across here, and then just peel it back like an apple, and less tears that way too. Yeah, I'm having to use the top of my cooler, but thankfully I had some disinfectant towels and shit like that. Was able to wash my skillet from last night, so that way whoops, why did I just do that like a retard? But go to put this out, and instead I turned off the freaking stove thing. My skillet heated up nicely. Now there's a positive when you can wash. It could be a wash stuff and just have a little bottle of this shit here. Dawn dish soap is good for a lot of things. Yeah. I got some boneless beef strips for breakfast this morning, basically. And then some Swiss cheese to go over the top. I mean, obviously this is a dude's breakfast, right? I mean, I know a lot of ladies out there who would probably have steak and eggs for breakfast. It's just I didn't bring any eggs. Ooh, steaks. Not the biggest pieces. Well, it's already cut in a strip, so it just makes my job easier not needing another knife to cut anything. So like with this, all I've cut is onion, so I'll be alright with cutting a freaking steak with that when I go to eat. Yeah, I think that's getting hot finally. Just gotta wait for this shit to do its thing, cause I'll get to put the basically I'll put the steaks around the outside and put the onion to the center, so the onion juice can kind of yeah get some flavor in there. No, I had trouble sleeping, like a lot of trouble sleeping, a lot of anxiety going on, and yeah, I keep looking right here because that's where the screen is over here, even though the camera's here. So, because the phone's just sideways, I got it connected to a battery charger. Well, battery pack. Yeah, good times, right? That fiddle. Yep. I mean, they're not horrible pieces. I mean, they're like a 1 by 1 inch, like thick type cuts. Do that. And then we'll take the onion. We'll get it here in the center. Throw a couple pieces in there, like so. Allow that onion flavor and the water from it to kind of roll out. Got that. And of course, the good old trusty Montreal. You can't go wrong with Montreal on steak, beef, or anything like that. I've got some garlic powder up in here, but a lot of that I just brought down so that way when I come back, I can I don't have to bring so much down in one trip, basically. It's not like I brought a whole lot. I just brought what I needed. Of course, this I need to keep with me. An important toolkit. That for stuff like that. I have a habit of locking myself out of my own vehicle at times, and so I generally keep some sort of tools with me so that I can get back in. And like this last time around, I locked myself out of the truck. It took me a couple days to get into it, and of all things, after I go through the whole process to make a whole new like Slim Jim and all that stuff for the truck, to pop it open, and I ended up removing the fucking wire that locks and unlocks the damn thing instead of unlocking. I ended up finding out an everyday kitchen item works just fine, and I was kind of surprised by it. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, yeah, no, that's kind of fuckered up. Let's see here. Let's see if I can show you the yummy goodness while it's cooking up. Move that out of the way. Wipe this down real quick. It's just water from the packaging, but still. Oh man, it's already smelling good. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Yummy good times. No, I've pretty much what I need to do is done. I just gotta get that damn rototiller into the truck. And I gotta wait till there's a guy that's showing up to pick up the trailer. And so I gotta go out there and put the new tags on the trailer before he tows it away. It's just too dark right now, and I know earlier I ended up running in town real fast. And on my way out, there was of all things, looked like a damn wolf. It was a little bigger than a coyote, and I see plenty of coyotes, and I know we got wolves out here. It was by itself, so I'm pretty sure it was just a wolf passing right down here just before getting on the main road. I was like, well, motherfucker. No wonder Mr. Bear didn't want to go outside. He could smell that fucker out there. It's like, no, I'm cool. Let's go back in the house. Yeah, no, I'm just... tired, of course, exhausted, just pretty much running on anxiety and shit like that. Not my favorite cup of tea to be functioning on. I'm not sure when we put the batteries in right yet or not. But yeah, I'm going to get it. Oh god, the onions are smelling good in this thing. See, I'd be fine with tiny living if it wasn't for the fact that I just have a movie collecting addiction. And all that from like VHS, DVD, a few Blu-ray, but yeah, shit tons of VHS. I have enough movies I could easily, if I had the right little hole in the wall like place, I'd be able to open up my little mini movie rental like without an issue and get one of those whatchamacallits, one of those little shed looking things that looks like a little market front or a little storefront type thing, whether it's like a western style type saloon or whatever or anything like that. That whole thing inside would be packed. I'd have just enough room maybe to yeah, something like that. I would need a fairly decent sized space because if I was to have to double up cases, because you know needing the plastic clam cases for VHSs because you don't always keep the movie with the cover. So you got the whole front area with a bunch of empty covers, and then you got the back area where it's just nothing but. And it, now I'm picturing it. I would definitely need a rather large. I'd be able to compete with a lot of old school hole in the wall movie rentals. That's for sure. We've got over 10 something thousand movies. Oh god, it smells so good. I know it sounds wrong when I'm getting excited on this. I'm a fat kid when it comes to some of this stuff. Flipping the steakies over. I know a lot of people be like, dude, get out of the kitchen if you're gonna cook it that way. I do happen to prefer a non-bloody steak. You know, I don't mind if it's like medium well, that type of thing. I just don't want any blood in my steak, and that's just being straight up honest. And be like, okay, give me your man card. No, I still eat bacon, even though overall I prefer not to eat pork at all. Bacon is just kind of a weak spot. I can't eat like pork chops and shit like that, pork roast. Really anything outside of that, I mean, even like pork sausage or whatever, I don't really eat hardly ever. I mean, that one is kind of a slight acceptance to me. Throw it on a pizza, fuck yeah, or in some spaghetti. Oh yeah. Or sausage and or biscuits and gravy. That's the primary way I tend to eat pork sausage. Otherwise, I just won't eat it. It's not necessarily a religious thing. I just for some reason, after I basically just quit eating it altogether. I quit eating pork altogether. And so now anytime I was to try and eat anything like that, I'll get sick. It'll make me sick to my stomach. And like my folks here and there, my poor dad, because I don't try to be a picky eater, but I am a picky eater. I have a, although I'm for most part open to trying new things, I also have to like get warmed up to the idea of eating some new things. Like seafood, most of it I'm afraid of. I'll eat like fried shrimp. Um, like fried fish, like if it's crispy fried. You know, like beer battered or stuff like that with like lemon juice. But I can't really, I don't really eat a lot of seafood. It just, no. And when it comes to, I mean, shrimp as is, it's pushing it for me when it comes to crustaceans because like crabs, lobsters, crawdads, a lot of people are, oh, it's so good. I struggle with it because their anatomy is technically the same as of a spider, so to me they're just big giant bugs in the ocean. And so that's what I picture it. Yeah, it's just like no, thank you. No, I'm good. I'm not sure I can do that now. And that's pretty much why I don't eat that stuff. It makes me nervous. I've never had crab cakes before. Like I've never like had real crab or any type of thing like that. Thankfully, I've never had crabs before either. But oh gosh, this is just looking so good and smelling so fucking good. Onions are just getting nice and caramelized. Oh, only you can smell this right now. But let's turn it down. So we'll start to kind of slow cook it a little bit. Even this stuff in the center. Yeah. I'm not gonna overcook it. But I can be picky about things. Like if it doesn't look right to me, I won't eat it. I excuse me. I have this like big quirk and on it that like I don't like my food touching. And so I won't eat the food. Like if it's on a plate and it's touching, there'll be like a line around where everything was touching and I won't eat it. Now so like those KFC bowl things where it's got like the corn, the taters, the chicken, the gravy, and all that shit smashed up in there. I can't eat that. It's just no. For yeah, it's I'm on. It's like I'm one of those people. I don't mind the like coconut milk, but I don't like eating coconut, and it's not the flavor. It's that whole texture thing. So for me, it's a combination of not just texture. It can be smell. It could be look. It's a combination of all that. So I'm just kind of weird like that. I am definitely weird like that. I guess you can't say kind of, but no, I actually somewhere in my uh um my stuff that they're packed away. Um, I have uh I have like almost like these plastic old school lunch tray looking things. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Swiss cheese. Oh man. I accidentally took the flame out, turning it down. Whoops. Yeah, that's the right side. There we go. Yes, that's the minimum setting right there. But doesn't sound like it's cooking anymore. Yeah, no, I make sure we get some onion on each of the steaks. But I actually have like little lunch tray things so that my food doesn't touch. But I got to a point, like, because I know it's kind of weird even at my age. I just, like, when I serve my own food, or like, if she made dinner once in a while, she would like make sure that the food wasn't touching it. It was in smaller portions. I know, I'm weird. It was in kind of smaller portions. Like I like my. Otherwise, if it wasn't, it would get put onto like a separate plate or onto like a separate bowl. That type of thing. Trying to make sure they all got some onion on them. It's hard to see because I got this other light right in my eyeball. But yeah, I know I'm weird and quirky that way, but it's just how I've always been. I've never been a fan about touching food to get in on it. I'm just sort of getting everything in a position so that way I can lay the cheese down. Lay the cheese down. But yeah, no, I have my moments. And generally, like when it comes to like, so like, for example, for most things like cooking, like when I cook, I'll cook things that I don't like. But I get people who will ask me like, well, how do you know if it's good or not? And it's like, well, I do it by smell. And plus, that's the same thing with like a lot of things. If I don't like it, but I gotta cook it, I cook it by smell. And not just by look, because that's how you know it's like done. But I just have had this thing where I will cook by smell. And just taking these whole slices, I lined up each piece of these steak things, and so that they just kind of melt over all the steaks and the onion, and I'll hold the onion in there. Yep, fun good times. Smells really good though. Gotta let that Swiss do its thing. See? Letting it melt up. We got some good old onion in there. The Swiss melts off pretty good. It'll do well. Something a little different. And it's not going on my steak. It's morning, and like I said, I'm dealing with a shit ton of anxiety right now. Honestly, I would like it if I didn't have to move back down here. Or at least have to move back down here alone till the house sells, that type of thing. I mean, if I knew I had somebody I can genuinely trust to make sure that the house is good and safe, that'd be great. But that ain't gonna happen. Little motherfucker. Oh, wait, never mind. Oh gosh, this is the cheese is melting up real nice. And some onion, the Montreal, the cheddar. See. No, it's a little late. I would have used some garlic powder. I prefer to use fresh garlic on that. It still smells so awesome. And generally, I'd cook it with butter. I didn't have a whole lot of room in the cooler. It's just like a lunchbox cooler. And so I had enough room to throw in like a little, like 1 pound thing of hamburger and like a package of steak. And of course, a thing of cheese and and my chocolate milk. But that was really it. Oh, and an onion. So to be honest, I'm just not really, no, I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm trying to keep my mind distracted and keep positive, because just all this moving and all this crap going on. Been a lot of deceptive shit going on. Yeah. I grab a fork. Need a fork to eat with, don't I? Okay. One out of 10. Total fat kid alert right here. This shit is really good. And thankfully, I'm not having to cut any big ass, steaks up, really. I just got these little guys to slice up into smaller bites. It's just hard to see with this light in my eye. Ooh. Cheesy, cheesy, cheesy. Well, that's onion too that you saw hanging out. Oh man, like I said, it's really hard to see. This is not the most attractive place setting considering what I'm working with and my lighting. Thankfully, it's all the same stuff, so I don't have to worry about like whether or not my food touches. That there. So, yeah. Just little guys. Looks like plenty of cheese, right? See here, let's get it down there. It's just camp food type stuff. At least for me. I mean, well, I'll have exceptions. Well, I like stew. It just depends on the kind and all that stuff, fun stuff. And then I don't mind, um, excuse me, uh, like all beef franks and stuff like that. I'll eat those. Just, I'm picky. I don't always eat them. Of course, burgers and chicken and shit like that. I'll eat venison and elk and all that good stuff. I mean, I'll eat that. And of course, I will take one thing back. One of the best pizzas I've ever had was up at Mount Hood and Rhododendron. There's a little pizza shop up there, next to the Dairy Queen. It looks like a little. There's like 3, 4 little businesses. You got the little what is it? The little post office for the town there, and like right next to it, if I remember, it's either that right next to it or one more over. It's this little pizza shop that's open like a couple days a week or some shit, and they make this boar pizza, like the boar sausage, and they put on their pizza and all that stuff. And holy shit, that's like I was working at a shop up there, and I was on break, and one of my coworkers went and was able to go across the highway there to go grab a a pizza that we split on, and I'd never had their pizza before. So he's like, "Dude, you gotta try this shit," and I'm like, "Okay." And I don't mind sausage on the pizza. Well, he comes back. He eats a couple slices for his lunch and all that stuff, and then we switch out, and he's up front. Well, in the shop there, you walk in, and it's just like kind of like one big room, like a living room type thing, and then you got your open doorway to go into the main part of the shop, dispensary, and of course there's an open check-in window and the door to the left of it, and you walk in, and you've got your counter space on the left and the right, straight ahead of you, that type of stuff. And it used to be like a little diner. So when you go in there, on the wall right behind the first set of the first counters there on the right, there's an old like pass through window for like from like say the kitchen to the waitresses or whatever, that type of thing. And there's a curtain in front of it, and I totally forgot it was there. And I was sitting there getting ready to eat the pizza, and of course I'm sitting there smelling. I'm like, God, that smells good. I'm looking at it like, it just looks good too. It's like, hurry up and fucking eat it type thing. I mean, it was like a thinner crust, like just a hand tossed thin crust type pizza, whatever he got. Well, I grab it and fold the pizza up, and I go to take a bite out of it, and I start to bite, and I'm sitting there, oh my fucking God. And of course, there's customers were just walking in, and they just walked in as I'm sitting there. Oh my fucking God, this is this is so this is so damn good. And they're I totally forgot the thing was there, and they're just on the other side of the curtain, and I'm sitting there and I'm taking another bite. Oh man, and I'm just this is so good. Oh God, dude, thank you so much. They don't see what's going on. And Kyle turns around, my coworker. He turns around and he opens the curtain. He goes, "Dude, are you getting laid back there?" I was like, "Dude, this is the best fucking pizza ever, man. I'm getting laid out right now by this pizza." I was like, "Holy shit, this is some great fucking pizza." And the customers are busting up laughing. They're like, "We thought you were doing something back there." I'm like, "No, I'm just eating this pizza." I was like, "This is the first time I've had this pizza from up here, and this is some good shit." I was like, "You guys gotta try some." And they're like, "You want a slice?" Otherwise, you gotta go just across the street to the pizza shop. They're still open. I was like, "Holy shit." I couldn't believe it. It was some of the best pizza I had. if not the best pizza I've had, like pretty much almost anywhere, at least in Oregon. You know, next to that would always did like Pizza Baron as a kid, but I don't know what they're like now. Um, there's there's a couple like where it's just an individual pizza shop instead of like a chain or a franchise that I liked going to, but I just don't know if they're still around. But yeah, let's see how this turned out. Hopefully this isn't all cheese. Oh, nice. Not too shabby. Oh, god damn. Oh. Hot damn, that's some good breakfast. Woo! Yeah, see, I like good food. I like cooking. I mean, I can't cook everything, but I'm a fast learner when it comes to some stuff. I did go to Western Culinary and do all that fun, awesome, drivey stuff. And worked in plenty of restaurants. Of all ironies, though, like I've worked, obviously, like most others, like 90% of other people, if they didn't start at a gas station, they started out at a freaking McDonald's or some shit. My first job actually was a dishwashing job at a local cafe, and yeah, it was like I was like 14. Before that, if we wanted money outside of chores, but at that age, like between like say 13 and like well, yeah, between 12 and 14 actually, it was just right around sixth grade up until the summer before freshman year. My buddy Jess and I, if we wanted money to go to the mall or something, we'd ride like a couple miles in one direction to go pick berries and stuff like that. Like I said, I think I said it before. We'd pick berries at like 75 cents a bucket, and yeah, I mean we'd sit out there for depending on how much we wanted to pull together. Because back then things were a lot cheaper. I mean, if you wanted to go get a burrito from Taco Bell or something, that shit was like it was like 29 cents or some shit or 39 cents back then. And it sounds like forever ago, but that was in the 90s. But then after that, then yeah, we'd probably be out there at least no less than like 4 hours. And in 4 hours, I mean, we could make back then like we pick a couple buckets because we get two at a time and filming and pick them at that time about 15 minutes. Other people were doing it a lot faster. We were getting to enjoy eating some of them too though. But yeah, we do like I think I want to say it was something like 15 buckets, and it brought us up to combined we were getting up to around like $15 just or $30 combined, just a little less than that. But then we get to go to town and go hit up Burger King or ride the bus out to the mall or some bullshit like that as kids. I mean, and go to the arcade. Or he was more of a mall rat than I was. I don't like going to places like that, but I enjoyed hanging out with my brother. And like we'd go out into Rockwood area, go see my sister Kristen and them. We'd go out. We'd go all over the place. But then, yeah, like when he wasn't really around, I'm just kind of in my own space because I really don't. I have friends. It's just I have trouble like getting out in public spaces unless I'm comfortable enough with the people I'm with too. And some people I've known for a long time, but we haven't gone out and done anything. So that kind of plays a part on me. God damn! So fucking good. Woo! But but no No, my of all the jobs, because I worked, like I said, from fast food all the way up into family restaurants and shit like that, Chinese restaurant and regular American family breakfasts and lunches and stuff. But of all places that I actually enjoyed working at the most, because it was a little slightly faster paced, and at the same time, like, I don't know how to explain it, because you're literally doing the same thing as what you would in any family diner or cafe, and like at Sonic's and all that stuff. I actually enjoy working at that place. They do take care of you. You get decent pay, but when you're cooking it in that place, you're cooking, not just virtually, you're cooking on all the same shit as you would in a regular fucking kitchen, depending on what kind of kitchen. I mean, if you're going like a Denny's, um, Sherry's, Caro's, you know, anything like that, you're working with the same equipment as you would in those places. You're just more or less just restricted to like burgers and fries and that fun stuff. But you're still capable of being able, if I wanted, like when I was working, if I want when I was working out the one up in Wilsonville, there were times there I'd get a couple little steaks from the nearby Albertsons or whatever, and cook them up right there on the grill, for lunch. So I mean, yeah, I you can cook anything in those kitchens there. It's just their specific menu just is what it is. It's why, like, a lot of their food, like when you go to eat it, it's just like any like a bellhop. It's a diner. It's just, yeah, a drive up diner type thing. It's not it's a little quicker than a diner, but not as it's not quite fast food. I mean, it's fast food slash diner to me. It's just kind of how it is. They have to be quick for the drive through. They have to be quick for the orders, like any other place. But they usually have, like in most kitchens, you might see three or four cooks there, and they're trying to cook for when you're sitting in a restaurant looking around. You're probably gonna see on average, maybe depending on where you're at, like 40, 50 people at a time. And it depends on the size of the establishment too. And that's in any other regular restaurant, like a Sherry's, Denny's, that type of stuff. You might have 40, 50 people at most in there, and you've got like two, three cooks. But then they're not just running the grills, they're running the fryers, they're doing all this other shit. Where at like Sonic's, they have people working each little fucked up station, and I can run one of those kitchens by myself. I've done it before in that sense when it came to cooking, but no, it's just that's why it's a lot faster, because you don't have, that's a big part of why it's faster, because you have people doing specific things. It's like one of the places I used to work at when I was a teenager for a bit there as a dishwasher. There's a place called Hales on McLaughlin up there in Milwaukee area. It's now Biscuits, and of all things, my best friend Nate, Hales was like the first place he worked at, his first job, and that's how he worked his way up to being a cook and all that. And then he went from Hales to, if I remember, he went from there to Biscuits and started working for Biscuits. And then next thing you know, I was going up there, I think like a year or so ago. I saw that Hales was up for sale. Next thing you know, Biscuits bought it out and moved in. So I was like, wow, that's kind of ironic. But no, I've worked in quite a few different restaurants. A lot of as many fast foods as I have others. I mean, I've worked in steel mills, production, warehousing. I just enjoy cooking. The other stuff was fun. I mean, I did construction in high school too. Um, but some of that stuff, it just felt more like a hobby. I don't know, cooking. I guess it's a hobby, but at the same time, it's just something I enjoy doing. I'm not sure where to place it. And The only reason why, like, at some of the places I didn't stick to them, because, like, after so long, it was like I wasn't moving up. I would just, I'd be the same person in the same spot, and I'd get stuck training people who'd become my bosses or my managers, and that was just kind of getting irritating. God. Hot damn, that's so good. Woo. Oh. Like, I'm getting energy off that, and so good. But no, that's probably that not probably that's part of, outside of that. My brother and I, when we were kids, we'd joke around about open up like our own little burger shop or something, and that's kind of where my drive came from. When it came to cooking, and the way I learned to cook as a kid, I watched people. I watched my mom and dad cook, and I still remember. I think it was the third grade. My mom was asleep, of all things. The typical thing: the parents asleep, the kids getting into trouble. But I was in the kitchen, and I decided, you know what? I'm awake. Mom's asleep. Dad's off at work. And that was when we were living up at Fort Lewis on the military base there. And I started making eggs and toast for my mom. And she comes walking out. Like, she woke up because she could smell something cooking. And so she comes walking out of her room and into the kitchen, like, what's going on in here? And, I got this mess, like you would see with any kids. I got the eggs all up there, scrambled up, in a bowl. I've got the toast all ready, like it was like 4 slices of bread. Because I was going to have some too. All ready to go in the toaster. And then I had some pancake batter stuff that was going to go with, but I wasn't going to do that right away. I was going in the order that I had watched my mom and dad cook that stuff. And so when she saw what was going on and saw that I was already in the middle of cooking the eggs and all that stuff, and they're just, getting right, and I'm sprinkling a little salt on there, and I put them on, once I knew they were done, I'd turn the heat off, and then I'd turn on the next skillet for the pancakes, and I'd throw a little pancake batter on there, and I'd watch for the bubbles, and once I started seeing it kind of start bubbling, then I'd flip it. And my mom's sitting there going, how the hell did you learn to do that? And I'm sitting there looking at her going, excuse me, not belching. But I was like, I watched you and Dad do it. I was like, I just watched what you guys did. I didn't didn't know how, understand recipes and all that. So I was just mimicking what they did. And that kind of was like where I first started cooking. And my mom just kind of sat there and watched to make sure I didn't burn the house down. But other than the fact that the pancakes were at that time a little bit dry, she actually was surprised that I could cook a basic breakfast, basically. And damn, that's so good. And it's not like there aren't kids today younger than, like, let's see here, I was like 7 at the time. Like 7 or 8. I was like 8, somewhere in there. It's not like you don't see 8-year-olds these days cooking. I mean, the way we've got the internet and TV and all that stuff, there's a lot of kids out there that are some, like, straight up savants, Like seeing, what is it, like, kind of like the Iron Chef for kids stuff. Some of those kids, I couldn't do that shit. It'd be fun to try, but no, I'm just used to basically, I really do, in the long run, feel comfortable with, like, diner food, stuff like that, because it's simple. It's just kind of stuff that we have at home. But but I can oh my god. Whoa. Oh man. You ever see the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds? And he has a cup of coffee and he turns around and he's like, damn, that's like sex in my mouth. That shit. That's pretty much kind of like what I'm doing with my food right now. I'm just kind of having sex with it. No, I'm joking. I'm completely fucking joking there. Erase that. Cut it. No. But no. I mean I know how I can cook for most part, you know, like your typical American Chinese food, and for most part, but yeah, it wouldn't take much for me to sit, and I might have to cook a dish like a couple times over before I have it down, but then at that point I can cook it. Now, like something that if it's complicated, it might take me a little bit more than that to get it down, but I don't usually do bad on that. So I mean, yeah, I can do like a chicken cordon bleu, chicken parmesan, just random shit, and I like to do beef and chicken fritters. Those I batter them differently. Well, still use like an egg wash and stuff like that, and then the dry batter, but I use a different type of dry batter. I typically try to make my own all together. Other than I can't make wheat or oats or whatever. Those have to be grown or store bought, and yeah. But anyways, I'm rambling while I'm enjoying this, and you guys got to sit there and listen to me ramble on about food and cooking while I'm sitting here pretty much trying not to lose a nut on this food. I'm joking. I'm just I that's the one thing I think I'm confident in life is with my life in my life is my cooking, and no, I don't have a big menu of things that I can cook. Although, like, yeah, there's a couple things I'll have like a half dozen variations of, but I'm not throwing those out there right now because it's things that I'm considering with being sort of the basis of starting my business whenever this place finally fucking sells. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the little morning cookout and my completely random rambling. So, thanks for watching and have a good day.